Flamingo chef, show us what you got with cocktails and dishes that hit the sweet spot.
Hey guys, Bill, the Kansas Flamingo chef. It's snowing. It's been snowing for quite a while, and it's still snowing, and it's ridiculously cold outside. With that in mind, I've got a problem. I'm out of sandwich bread, and I have zero desire to go driving in this junk just to get a loaf of bread. Fortunately, I know how to make my own, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Making sandwich bread is so easy, and quite frankly, the stuff you make is much better than what you buy at the store, and generally it's good for about 5 days before you need to make a new loaf, and it costs a lot less. You go to the store and buy a loaf of bread, they can be $4 or $5. This is going to cost you about 60 cents at the most. So your ingredients are really easy. You need a pan. Now this one's disposable just because I happen to have it laying here and need to use it, but you can buy a cheap bread pan and use it over and over and over again. The only reason I'm using the disposable one right now is because my good pan is currently in the oven making another loaf of bread for somebody else. So a standard bread pan, you need flour. Personally, I prefer to make this with bread flour, which is what's in this container, but you can use all-purpose flour. It works just fine. You're going to need hot water, salt, some yeast. You can use active dry yeast or bread machine instant yeast. It really doesn't matter. I like the instant yeast better because you don't have to mix it with the water first, but either one is fine. I have them both. And you're going to need some sugar. Those are the only ingredients. So I'm going to make this here in my KitchenAid and then transfer it just because that means it takes less work to knead. But you can do this with your hands, however you want to do it. It's really simple. If you are going to use a KitchenAid blender, I highly recommend you get one of these. The one that comes with the machine usually doesn't have these rubber paddles on it. And if you buy the KitchenAid brand, you can get one that has rubber paddles on one side. These you can find on Amazon and eBay, and they're dirt cheap. But if you notice, it's got a paddle on both sides, so it scrapes the bowl continuously. You don't have anything sticking, and quite frankly, it speeds up the process. I'm going to start with 1 cup of hot water. It's very important that it's hot. If you start with cold water, this is going to take forever, and your yeast is going to ball up, and you're going to have a giant mess. Not to mention, it's not going to blend well. I have 1/8 of a cup of sugar. About 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of melted butter. Whichever yeast you're using, you're going to need about 3/4 of a teaspoon of yeast. Last but not least, you're going to need about 3 cups of flour. Now, generally what I tell people to do is start off with a little less than what you think you need. So I'm going to put about 2.5 to 2 3/4 cups in here. And then I'm going to start this kneading. And as it kneads, if it's not balling up, if it's still too sticky, then I can add a little bit of flour to get it to the right consistency. So I've got about 2.5 cups in there, and I'm going to put this KitchenAid to work. Lock it down. I'm going to start it on low because I don't want this stuff splashing all over the kitchen. And once it starts to combine, then I'm going to turn this up to about speed 3. And it's going to need to knead for about 5 to 6 minutes till you get a good ball of dough. All right, it's been 5 minutes. I added almost no flour, maybe 1/8 of a cup, just enough to get it so it wasn't sticking to the sides. As we bring this up, you can see I just have a little bit stuck here. Now what I'm going to do is take the paddle off, and because of how I know things stick, and take a little bit of flour, sprinkle on there, and just kind of roll it across that flour so that I can get it to come out of the mixing bowl as one big lump of dough, like that. I've got a decent sized bowl here with some depth, and I've sprayed a little bit of olive oil on the inside. I'm going to set my dough in here and then cover it with this damp, not wet, damp towel, and just leave it sitting on the counter for about 20 minutes so it can rise. All right, so my dough's been rising for about 20 minutes. And I actually have it sitting on top of the stove where it's warm. It helps it rise a little faster. The oven is preheated to 350. I've made a little makeshift bread pan here. And the reason I've done this pan is so wide, what I'd wind up with is a big flat cake rather than a tall loaf of bread. And I was going to just do it in my bread pan, but like I said, I was already cooking bread. I said I was going to use this. I was going to show you ingenuity is sometimes your best friend. All right, so we're going to take this dough out, and we're going to work it just a little bit. For that, I just need a little flour, and I'll leave the flour open because I'll probably drizzle some on top of the bread. If you spray the bowl first, it'll come right out of there. And I just let it stretch, and then fold it, throw it down on the flour, put a little flour on top. We're just going to kind of knead that flour into it so that it becomes like Play-Doh rather than sticky. Gen X kids know what I'm talking about. All right, we're going to work this dough out almost like a pizza, and then just stretch it as far as it will stretch without tearing, and then fold it over itself over and over again. And you do this 2 or 3 times, and you'll see it starts to rise while you're doing this, which is what needs to happen. That's how you're going to make it into a loaf. Now, some people say you change directions. I don't believe that because I'm forming a loaf. I want it to work as a loaf. So I'm going to turn it over itself into a big tube like this. And then I'm just going to lay this into this makeshift bread pan and push it down so that it fills the whole area. Because that way it will rise from there. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not buying Wonder Bread here. Normally when you're making bread, you want to let this sit in this container on your stove for a little bit. It's already done that. This is going right into the oven. It's at 350, and I'm going to let that cook for about 25 to 30 minutes. Generally speaking, a little longer is not necessarily a bad thing. You don't want it doughy. Hey, the timer just went off. It's time. Let's turn this off and grab the hot pad. Oh yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. Now remember, I didn't use my bread pan, so it's not going to be a perfectly designed loaf, but by building those little outside walls, it looks pretty good. Just kind of pull this apart a little bit. Roll her out of there. Look at that. Oh, that looks nice. It's got a nice hard outside crust, which I like on bread, but it's still very soft. So that's going to slice and just be beautiful bread. You know, is it a full-size loaf of bread? No, I wasn't using the loaf pan. The idea is that it's still the same concept. If you want a bigger loaf of bread, use a bigger pan, double the recipe, and you'll have a standard loaf of bread. This is easy, it's fast, it's extremely inexpensive, and I promise you this tastes better than that stuff you buy at the store for $5. I've got about 70 cents in this. Until next time, if you would like me to make something, all you got to do is drop me a comment right here on this video. You can also email me, bill@kansasflamingochef.com. I just saw somebody go driving by, sliding side to side, and I hope you have better weather than I do today. Stay safe out there. Have a great day. Make some bread.